Everybody, good morning. It is Saturday. Well, it's not morning. It's afternoon. It's 12:05 my time, Eastern time. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. It doesn't matter. So some of you it's morning. Some of you it is the afternoon. Some of you it's the middle of the night, actually. So we got all kinds of people in the house today. We got Atlanta, California. Yeah, so it's definitely morning in California for you, Cast Ahead, Chris Stone. So I'm sorry, not Cast Ahead. We got Bad Robot is in California, but Chris, my friend, is here watching from Atlanta. So it's always good to see you in the live chat, my friend. All right. We're going to do a live Q&A today. So we're going to get started, right? So my name's Melanie Diane Howe. I'm a live stream mentor. Love helping people do more and more with their live videos. Usually I do this stream on a Friday, but I had to reschedule it. I had something very important come up, so I wasn't going to be able to actually live stream yesterday, so I postponed it to today. And those of you that are maybe like, doesn't Daniel Batal usually go live the second Saturday of the month? I actually messaged him and I said, friend, are you going live tomorrow? Because I kind of need to move my stream. And he said, go for it. Just do it. So kind of stole Daniel's spot a little bit for today, but we're kind of figuring it all out. So I see some questions coming in. I'm going to use the starred comments feature, and I'm going to actually get some of these put into the queue so I can jump in and answer them. So that's what we're going to do. Good to see everybody here. This is super fun. So yeah, Dream Talking with Vicky says, good to see you, Mel. Well, it's good to see you too, Vicky. We got Marion in the house from over yonder as well. So what time is it there? It's like evening there, right? So yeah, so happy Saturday night to you. So, all right, so here's the deal. We're going to answer questions. I'm going to answer your questions today. I forgot to grab my water, so hopefully I don't have to stop and grab the water. But do me a favor, put a Q in front of your question, because if you have a question for me, I will answer it. So anything about StreamYard, anything about live streaming, maybe gear or questions you have about even some of the technology that goes into creating live videos or videos, I would love to get that from you. So do me a favor, put a Q in front of your question so I can see it as a question and not just a regular comment. So there we go. Just like Epic Autoro the Vyonder 2008. That is one heck of a handle. That is a mouthful. But thank you for putting that Q in front of your question. I will put it into my queue. Oh, Marian says it's 2 a.m. Sunday. So yeah, woo! It's 6 p.m. in South Africa. There you go. So we are watching all over the place, and I love it. All right, so let's get to it, shall we? Oh, we got April over watching on X. Got to say hi to my X viewers. I always feel like everyone, when they're watching on X, they don't comment. They just kind of like lurk a little. So it's always great to see a comment coming over from X, because we are multi-streaming today. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, and we are on X. We are not on Facebook today because our Facebook account needs reconnected, and I actually can't do that. And it's Saturday, so didn't even really want to try to mess with anybody getting that reconnected for me this morning. So, all right, I am grabbing these questions, and we're going to jump into it. This is fun. Everyone, talk about serendipity. You popped up in my feed just as I was thinking about live streaming. Never live streamed before. Too nervous. My friend, honestly, it can be a little scary to go live because, it's live. So it definitely makes people nervous sometimes. But I will tell you that the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you become. So the best time to start is now, really, honestly. So I say get after it. Let me know if you have any questions about it, though. All right, so here we go. We are going to jump in. I'm going to start answering these questions for you, and that's what we're doing. So let me go into my queue, and we'll start. Well, I actually was wanting to play a little bit of background music today, so I think I might do a little lo-fi in the background, maybe. Just a tad. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so name tag Alexander had the first question today. Says, when will hosts be able to record on StreamYard using the app? So I think what you're referring to is the mobile app. So there is a StreamYard mobile app, but it's really intended for when you are doing an interview or having a guest on your stream. But if you are using your phone and you go to StreamYard.com on your phone, you can actually use almost all of the exact features that you can on a desktop. However, as far as to be able to record it to your device, you would need to be able to, we call this local recordings. You would need to be streaming from a computer, because it's going to then actually download that recording when it's done to your computer. Now, to keep in mind though, your live stream is also stored in the cloud. So when you go live, you have a video library that you can access. I can actually pull it up here. We'll pull it up here in just a second. I might as well show you right while I'm talking about it. But all of your lives are also kept into the cloud, as long as you haven't run out of storage space. So when you log into your account, let me do a screen share so I can show you what I am talking about. Show my screen. There we go. Add it. Let's do this. Looking for a layout that I want here. Here we go. All right, so when you go into your account, right here where it says library, right there underneath on the left side, if you click on library, when you go live, even from a mobile phone, it's going to save it into the cloud. So you actually can access your recording and then download it from there. So you can download the file right there to your computer system. So really, you don't need the mobile app to do the recording, if that answers your question. Hopefully it did. Okay, so Ada has a question. She says, I have a pre-thumb that doesn't show, I believe she's trying to say, doesn't show on my channel that tells I'm coming live. Every other platform but YouTube shows that it's coming. Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Interesting. So when you schedule a live stream, if you go into, when you schedule your stream, as long as you upload at that point in time a thumbnail in StreamYard, it should push to YouTube and it will show up. The only thing I can think is that if you have edited your stream or maybe added YouTube after you pre-scheduled it, you have to actually manually add that thumbnail to the YouTube one. So that is definitely one of the things that happens. But it could also be maybe there's something in your YouTube settings that's turning off that function, because if you upload your stream, when you schedule your stream, it should show up on YouTube. So it's either you are changing the stream and you need to re-upload the thumbnail, or you've got a YouTube setting that's preventing it from displaying. So that would be where I would start. If you continue to have challenges with that, then I'd say reach out to StreamYard support and they can help troubleshoot that with you. Okay, so Fire Animated 3125 Entertainment has a question that says, what happened to the YouTube channel reviews and Ask StreamYard, aka StreamYard Town Hall? So as I mentioned, so the channel reviews, Daniel and Nick, Daniel Batal and Nick Nimmin, or not Nick Nimmin, I'm sorry, D Nimmin, Nick's brother, they were doing the channel reviews, and that was once a month. And then, of course, the town hall was conducted by Dan and Gage. So those of you that don't know, StreamYard was recently acquired by another company, another software company, and Dan and Gage have since moved on. So they are actually no longer part of the StreamYard, team. So if you want to continue to stay in touch with those guys, you can follow Gage over on X or even on LinkedIn. He made a post about that they have moved on. So that's why that town hall is no longer happening. I don't know if the new StreamYard content team plans on doing something similar or not. Everything's kind of like up in the air a little bit. So some things are definitely changing, and then some things might stay the same. So as of right now, I'll also be coming live every other Friday doing my show, which is really just a StreamYard kind of Q&A, marketing Q&A, helping you basically do more with your live streams. And then as far as Daniel and Dee's show, that's all kind of being figured out. So they are kind of like negotiating or figuring out what they want to do. Are they going to keep doing it, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if the channel reviews will come back. I believe that Daniel did the stream last month, but he did do a channel review because they do that together. So not exactly sure what's going to happen moving forward. I think it's just all being discussed. Hopefully we get those guys back and we can keep seeing their awesome content on the channel for sure. So, cause they do a great job. And I know you all love them. So if you want to see them come back, I would definitely jump over to the Facebook group and maybe make a little shout out post saying that you want Dan or Dee and Daniel to come back for sure. So, okay. I got another question here that I want to Epic Alturo the Beyonder 2008 says, have you ever live streamed with your friends? For me, yes, I do live stream with my friends because I do live streams every day and I love it. That's cool. Yeah. So I actually think going live with people can be a ton of fun, especially if it's somebody that is in your space and you guys can create content together. So for example, the show that Daniel and Dee used to do, the channel reviews, those guys are friends. They go way back, and you can tell it comes off in the stream that they know each other and that they have a friendship. And I do think that actually makes the content even more compelling and much more enjoyable to watch. So if you have an opportunity where you have friends that can and would go live with you, absolutely. I think it's a ton of fun to do. The Odd Corner says, can we have the option to move the logo to other corners? So here's the deal. As of right now, this spot up here where you have the logo, that is the designated spot for your custom logo. Now, you have to be on a paid plan in order to use your own custom logo. If you're on the free plan, it's going to have the StreamYard. Let's see, I'll show you. It's going to have, I've got like allergies going on, so I'm sorry if I keep clearing my throat. It's going to look like that. So all of you that are on the free plan, that is basically the watermark that you're going to see that you can't turn off. But if you are on any of the paid plans, you can upload your own logo and you can, put whatever you want up there. That box, that size that you see like this, that is essentially the window for the logo. You cannot move it around as of right now. You can create custom layouts, but one of the things you can't customize is where the logo shows up as of right now. Now, one way around this would be for you to create a transparent overlay. Now, again, you have to be on a paid plan to use an overlay, a transparent overlay that would have the logo up here. So for example, like this is a transparent overlay. This is in everybody's accounts. You would be able to, for example, put your logo over here. Now, again, it's just an overlay that you would have to have on the whole time. So that would be the way around the limitation on where you can put the logo would be for you to create your own transparent overlay and upload it and have it turned on while you're streaming. So the Creator Classroom has a great question. She says, if you were starting a newsletter email list, what steps would you take from decision time to launch? Well, I think decision time is already there. So I am a very big believer in email marketing. I do believe that it is territory that you can pretty much control and own. For example, if you're only relying on creating content on YouTube or Facebook, you never know when there's going to be an outage or a change. So recently, Facebook announced this major change that affected a lot of streamers who were creating live streams into Facebook groups. Essentially, Facebook came out, Meta, I should say, came out and essentially said, we are no longer going to allow third-party apps to connect to Facebook groups. That means that you can't just use the simple functionality connecting StreamYard to Facebook groups and then go live into the Facebook group. It now means you have to use a stream key and use the custom RTMP function inside StreamYard. This also prevents comments coming into the StreamYard studio. So it changes things. You can still create live videos in Facebook groups. It just drastically changed how you do it, and also now does require you to pay to do it because the custom RTMP is not free inside the application. So, but with email marketing, you pretty much can control everything. In fact, if that situation were to happen, you would be able to communicate to your email list and say, hey, there's a new change. I've got something that's, changing the game for me. I am now no longer going to be streaming into Facebook groups. You need to come over to my YouTube channel and become a member for $1.99 a month or whatever you decide to do. My point is that email marketing is a territory that you can own. It's also a place where you can communicate with your audience in whatever way you need to or want to. Whereas social media, the platforms, they own the platforms. You don't own Facebook, you don't own LinkedIn, you don't own YouTube. You can't control anything. So those platforms could make a change that could drastically affect you and how you communicate with your audience. So I do believe email marketing is a very smart way to market yourself, as well as if you have anything that you're selling. I absolutely believe the email marketing is great. So there's my soapbox about email marketing. Now, to answer Jen's question, where she says, once you decide, which hopefully she's decided now that she's going to do this, you essentially, email marketing is this. You need a few things. I would, recommend that you go follow Amy Porterfield and go find her podcast episodes that are about launching an email list or starting an email list. She's got a ton of content about it, and she is the master at email marketing. I love it. I love her content and the way she breaks it down for you. She does have a course you can also enroll in to learn how to basically do exactly what you're asking is, how do you start and create an email list? How do you start from scratch? So you need a few things are here. One, you need a website. You need to make sure you have a website because that's a place where you're going to create landing pages and be able to give people this opportunity to opt in to your newsletter. The other thing I would say is you need to have some content upgrades available. So these are maybe a PDF that they're going to download, like a checklist, or a video that you're going to send to them, like a little mini course, a free mini course, or a white paper, ebook, whatever you want to call those things. These are called freebie like content upgrades. And so the way they pay for it is by subscribing to your email list. And so you go in and you say, yes, they say, I want that checklist. And then in order to get the checklist, they're opting into your email list. And the way you deliver that checklist to them is through a link or by an attachment in an email that your email marketing provider is going to send to them. So you need a website, you need incentives for them to opt into your newsletter, you need a content plan because you should be emailing your list regularly. And then lastly, you do need an email marketing provider like a MailChimp or, Constant Contact, or, Kajabi has one built into Kajabi if you're using Kajabi. So you need those things in order to actually do that. So once you have all that stuff lined up and you have a content plan, you're ready to go. That's essentially the nutshell, but that is essentially the way you're going to make that happen. Okay, I am going to do a quick check-in on the comments. I do have a couple more questions in the queue, but I definitely want to make sure that I check in on the comments. And hey, got to say hey to Nick. He's here. I always love it when my fellow content creators show up on the stream. It always makes me feel like I'm kind of hanging out with my friends. So it's a lot of fun. So it's good to see you, Nick, hanging out with us today. Okay, so let me go back and find, I see a lot of more questions. So I'm going to grab those and put them in my queue. I'm using the starred comments feature to do that, which is one of my absolute favorite features of StreamYard for sure. Wow, got all kinds of questions coming in, so this is great. Let's see. I see Chantel's in the house too. Good to see you, Chantel. Always happy to see you hanging out with us. It always makes me feel comfortable when one of the moderators is here as well, for sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm just grabbing questions so that I can get them in my queue. Jen says, we want D. All right, I'm just grabbing a few more. I'll do add guest. Okay, see that. Wow. Okay, so if you have a question for me, do me a favor, put a Q in front of it. That's going to help me see that it's a question amidst all the other fun comments that we've got coming in. Let's see. Joanne says, I built my email list organically just by consistently sending good content. Yeah. And that is, she said, no lead pages, but I wanted it that way. Yeah, that's completely fine. In fact, that is one way. I mean, it all kind of also depends on the content you're going to be sending in the email. So again, the whole point of the landing pages with those content upgrades is essentially giving people a reason to initially join your email list. Some people will join your list just because they want to join your list. So that is definitely going to happen. But you will grow your list much faster if you have content upgrades to give people a reason to jump in. So gotta say hi to Robin. She said, jumping on a little late. Wasn't expecting a Saturday live. I know I was originally going to be live yesterday. I had to move it to today. So for sure. Good to see you here though, hanging out with us on Saturday. Okay, if you have a question for me, I don't repeat your question in the comments. Just ask it once with the queue. I will grab it and then I will get to it in try to get it to it in the order of the questions that are coming in. So definitely, yes, Chantel, thank you for helping with the instructions in the chat. Super duper appreciate it. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back into questions because I think I'm caught up now. So yes, it's me tools says, can you multi-stream from one camera to horizontal and vertical? Okay, so I will tell you, as of right now with StreamYard, you can't. Well, hold on a second. Yes, you can. So you could do a custom RTMP destination and go live on Instagram, for example, as well as YouTube, and be horizontal on YouTube, and it would be vertical in Instagram because that's the only way Instagram receives the data of you in your video. However, you would see this comment down here on Instagram, it would be cut off right there if you did what I just described. Now, those of you that don't know, you do have the option now when you create a live stream. Let me just do something really quick. You do have the option to select your layout, meaning being horizontal or vertical. So let me just show you what I mean by that, because it is part of it. So you could do it. I'm just saying you could. However, it is going to change the way that you are showing up. Now, I will tell you this, I have seen some creators on YouTube lately where they are live both vertical and in horizontal at the same time with the exact same camera feed. And I think they're using other types of software like OBS or others to do that. So like I said, as of right now with StreamYard, it doesn't give you the option to do that. So let me show you guys what I was talking about real quick. So in your settings, when you go to a stream and you go to your actual studio settings, right here, the orientation, you are going to have the option to select portrait mode now. Now, portrait mode would be what you would want to use if you are streaming to a portrait-oriented platform. And you wouldn't want to use this. I mean, you can. I've seen people do it where they actually use portrait mode and they still go live on YouTube or Facebook, and it just has them in the middle of the screen. And it's, some people maybe would hate that and some people don't mind it, but their main area of focus is like TikTok or Instagram. And that's why they're selecting portrait, but they also want to multi-stream over onto YouTube. But they are actually essentially trying to drive traffic over to those vertically oriented platforms. So that would be, you would need to pick the main platform, and that needs to be where your focus is. So to answer your question, yes, you could do it, but it's kind of a hack. And there are other ways to do it, but just not natively inside the StreamYard software as it's currently built and designed. Hopefully that answered the question. Let's see. Okay, so now name tag Alexander gave me a little more color to their question. When will the host finally be able to record using the StreamYard app? We're able to record on site via mobile, but it's trouble using a USB mic to do so. So the USB mic, if the mic is where you're dealing with a challenge, then you just need to get a good mobile device mic. if that's what you're trying to do. So, the Rode Wireless Pro is an awesome mic set that I would recommend if you're just not wanting to use a USB mic. But there are definitely tons of mobile device microphones out there that you would want to use if that's truly where you're running into the issue. But as far as how I answered the question originally, it still basically is the same. I don't know that if there's any new developments coming to the mobile app or not, to be honest with you. Okay, so Rod has a great question. Rod J. Beer Ventures has a question. Are there any plans to tie in Elgato's Stream Deck to StreamYard? I know this is something being looked at in the past by previous owners. So, Rod, you can use the Stream Deck with StreamYard. There is not a plug-in integration as of far. I don't know. There may be a developer out there that's made one, but you can absolutely use the Stream Deck with StreamYard. You would actually program your hotkeys. So back into the settings. So when you go into your settings down here where it says hotkeys, if you click on hotkeys, all of these hotkeys are what you would program into your Stream Deck buttons. So that's how you have to use hotkeys. Now, I know that there are people out there that have developed profiles that basically make it super easy. So they use the default settings of your hotkeys, and they have created buttons for you to be able to do things like turn on and over, or switch from layouts. Different layouts is one of them. Muting your microphone, turning your camera on and off. I think even starting and stopping videos that you have in there. So you would want to check out the hotkeys. All of these right here are what you would be able to program into your Stream Deck. But as far as an actual partner integration, there's not one at this time. So Juan wanted to know how to add a guest. So that is actually very simple. The first thing you have to do is you have to invite somebody to your stream. So in order to do that, you would create your stream. Let's see. I think, yeah. Okay, so you create your stream. Oops, I gotta show my screen again. And so your stream will show up here. You go into these three dots and you're going to see invite guests. And that is going to give you a link that you can send to your guests. They would use this link to join the studio as a guest. Now, you also can allow guests to add this to their own destinations in their own StreamYard account if they have one, where you would be essentially multi-streaming to your platform or your channel and their channel. But this link right here, you just want to copy it, email it to them, and then they are essentially going to be able to join your stream, and they will show up backstage. And when you are ready to add them, you would simply, just like the way you add your own camera down underneath the studio, you would add your guest to the stream and they would show up at that point. And then you can change the different layouts to show how you want to actually display your guest. So there's lots of videos on that, as well as in the help tab of StreamYard's website. If you go down to the having issues thing, it'll show you that stuff. You can type that question in and it's super easy, but there's all kinds of videos on YouTube, including our channel, to show you how to do it too. So Renee Johns Milshman, I think I said that correctly, says, I would like to have the chat box with transparent background in the streaming screen. So what Renee is referring to is the chat, the live chat that you guys are all typing in right now and talking to me and to each other, displaying right here, right? I know this has been requested a number of times. Other streaming platforms do have this option, but I remember Dan and Gage talking about, they didn't love this option because it can create more problems for you that you maybe, and I know that simplicity has always been one of their pillars. And so in the past, it wasn't really entertained because they just wanted to keep things simple, and they also want to keep things simple for their users. So there are ways you could do it. You could use another platform, another plugin combined with StreamYard to do what you're describing. But as of right now, that is not a function of StreamYard or in the StreamYard studio at this time. I don't know if it's back on the table in the roadmap or a possibility in the future. So Tommy Stiggs Social Club says, can we film a video on a phone or tablet and load them through StreamYard? I would love to use the ticker. I would love to use the ticker on an upload. The ticker on an upload. Okay. So I believe what you're referring to is you want to have this ticker. You want to do let me reread this. Can I film a video? Okay, so I'm going to answer this question two ways because the ticker part made me confused. If you are wanting to record something on your phone and then play that video during a live stream, you absolutely can do that. You just need to upload that video into the videos of StreamYard, the studio, or you can actually have the video downloaded to your computer, and you can use the present screen, but you are actually going to show a video and play it that way. There's, again, tons of videos on how to do this. But if what you're describing is you want to create a video, even with your phone, using the StreamYard Studio, and you want to record a video, but you want to use some of the features of StreamYard, like the ticker, then you would actually want to do the record only function. And that's what you would want to do. I am certain you can do that. Let me double check, because I think I am logged into StreamYard. Let me see here. Create. Yes. So you absolutely can, on the mobile phone, do a recording only. There's a little bit of a glare there, but you absolutely can do a live stream, a recording, or an on-air webinar just from your phone. So you would be able to create the video using your mobile device, using the StreamYard features, and record your video and then use it that way. So I think that might be what you're asking. Hopefully it is. But if not, give me a follow-up to your question. All right. The junk drawer says, any suggestions on fun games to play during a live stream? I mean, honestly, I'm not a gaming streamer. I don't play games in my streams. There's two ways that you could do this. You can stream video games, right? So you can be talking while you're streaming, playing the video game. There's a number of ways to do that. If you wanted to use StreamYard to do this, you would want to be playing a PC game or a game on a computer, right? That's essentially on the computer, and you would just stream that game window. You would present that screen window in your stream, and you would use maybe like a layout like this, where I'm down here in the bottom corner. Well, you'd probably want to move yourself somewhere else. You'd want to be able to be seen, right? That's the whole point. So, down in the corner, and you can use the custom layouts to do that, or you can just use the picture-in-picture layout right here, where it puts you in there, and your screen, the screen that you see here, would be the video game you're playing. So you absolutely can do that. Now, the other thing that Junk Drawer might be referring to is maybe like ways to kind of gamify your stream or have some fun. I mean, in your streams and stuff. That all comes down to your audience and what you do. So what is your content about? If you're going to play games and have some fun, I would think you'd want it to be a little bit like, related to your content. That would be kind of cool. So. Okay, I'm going back up for some more questions because I see we got a few more questions. Yeah, Marianne says that she uses Stream Deck with StreamYard, which is very cool. I did see this question right here. The Life with Lucia and Glenn. Does StreamYard have an app for the phone? Yes, you can download the app, but it's essentially really just intended for when you have a guest. You can also use StreamYard on your phone by just going to StreamYard.com, and it's essentially all the same features and functionality. Okay, so I'm scrolling up so I can get some more questions. Am I single? No, I am not single. I am in an 8-year relationship. In fact, Doug was just going to get our mail. I saw him going outside to get the mail. Let's see. It's hilarious. It might be a first. Okay, I think I see where I need to start grabbing questions, so I'm going to do that. All right, there we go. I see a question from English Fun Zone. Connie Cleary's got one. Good questions today, by the way, guys. Really appreciate it. Hey, Doug, it's good to see you here. We aren't going to be doing a giveaway today, but I appreciate the hashtag. So Rod, real quick. So back to the Stream Deck thing. I would do some searching out there to see. So if those of you that are if you're not sure what a Stream Deck is, nope. That camera's not working very well right now. But a Stream Deck is this device right here. There we go. The buttons are on. What that does, that actually allows you to hit buttons, and it's basically like button control functions. So you can use a Stream Deck for so many applications, right? And it's made by Elgato. It's very popular, and it's really cool. So it's basically doing things. It's like macros, and you would hit a button and it does something. Let's play a song, or turn your camera on and off, like I said. But I was gonna say, Rod, Google it out there. So get on YouTube, search for it, because there's a lot of cool things that people have done. But I do know that some people have created profiles that you can actually download, and then it's just automatically going to sync up to your StreamYard. So you might check that out. That might make it a lot easier for you too. Okay, I see some more questions. Oh, that's a brilliant idea, actually, but there kind of is. So Joanne says, I wish there was a Stream Deck that you could hold like a remote control. That way you could move around. You actually can use, I think Elgato has an app. Man, am I right about that? I know that I'm almost positive Elgato has an app that you would do on your phone. So there are apps out there that are basically work like a Stream Deck, and they are on the phone. That would be the way to do it. But that would be cool if Elgato came out with like a remote version, like a miniature version of their. That would be super cool, actually. It'd have to be wired in though, I think, still. But oh, there you go. Stream Deck has a mobile app. So Phil, sorry, I didn't even see your comment yet. So 100%, absolutely. It's hilarious. Okay, I see some good questions. Put that Q in front of your questions for me. It'd be awesome. There's some weird comments coming in too. But I got my moderators here helping me out today. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. StreamYard Tinder. It's hilarious. Yes, wrong Doug. Not that Doug, not that Doug. It's hilarious. So Marianne has she has her channel is about like productivity, if I'm not mistaken. Productivity and like getting things done. So this does not surprise me that she's programmed shortcuts to make things more efficient for her streams. But she says, I've programmed it to switch through different layouts and functions. So yeah, the Stream Deck is definitely very helpful. And it's can be a really great tool if you can just take the, if you can invest in it and take the time to get it, essentially programmed, like she said. Okay, I am getting questions queued up, and then I'm going to get back to answering them. Okay, all right. Selena says, aloha. Hello, watching over on LinkedIn. Good to see you over there. All right, so I'm going to get back to some questions that I've got. All right, so English Fun Zone. I haven't got any members, but I'm doing members only videos. I've done a few live streams, but no viewers. Should I keep doing live streams? Okay, this question does confuse me because you say I haven't got any members, but you're doing members only videos. If you're doing members only videos and you don't have any members, no one's going to see those videos. So that could be something there, but that seems a little odd to me that you would do that. So maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. So, but here's the deal. Okay, members only videos. Members only videos can be done a number of ways. You could do it into a private community, like I mentioned earlier, which was how a lot of people were using StreamYard, was to go live into Facebook groups. To join a Facebook group, you have to become a member. You can gate that membership by making them pay to get into the group. All kinds of ways to do that. There are other platforms out there that now allow you to stream to those platforms, and people do have to be a subscriber or a member to access that content. Again, you would have to use custom RTMP to do that. For a YouTube stream, if you're wanting to do a members only live stream on YouTube, for example, you do have to have memberships turned on, and you would have to have have members actually for them to see that members only content. A lot of the YouTube memberships are like, it's $1.99 a month or $4.99 a month. I mean, I'm a member of some of my friends' streams just because I'm supporting them, but I also just enjoy getting that little extra exclusive content, which is really what we're talking about here. Is you're creating exclusive content that they have to be a member for. But if you don't have any members, then you should be promoting a membership that has other benefits other than these members only videos. And that would be, they need to have a reason to become a member. So maybe you have, you're thinking about a membership, or maybe you're wanting to create members only live streams as the incentive or the reason for them to join you. Because that's the thing, to be a member of something, there has to be something that's exclusive that they are getting that nobody else can get unless they're a member, whether it be Q&As or, you bring them on your stream and you coach through something, or extra tutorials or extra tips, or just a content that you're not putting out there for free. So there's that. But as far as the live streams, I love members only live streams. I think they can be extremely effective, but you have to think of it this way. This is how I describe memberships. I always like to use the Main Street example. So we're walking down Main Street. Do I still have my overlay? I think I took that overlay out. Oh, hold on. I want to see if yeah, I took it out. I used to have this like Main Street little house, a little shop right here. I took it out of my studio though. So if you're walking down Main Street and you see all these stores and all these places that you can go into, you have to give them a reason to want to walk in your store in the first place. And that's just your branding, your display. There needs to be very clear what kind of store you are so they know they want to go in there. So you've done that. They walk in and now they're looking around and they're looking at your stuff. This is your content, right? This is your website. This might be your social media. It could be previous recordings that you have. Now, maybe you've got like a Saturday morning VIP, exclusive shopping day because you bring out all your new merchandise on Saturday mornings and your store opens at 10. But if there's somebody who's a VIP member, they get to come in at 8. They get to come in at 8 a.m. and shop that stuff before anybody else gets to, so that they get exclusive rights, that first dibs. That would be an example of a membership or an exclusive, something that's exclusive that they have to join. Now, this VIP membership could be them joining your email list, or it could be paying for some sort of special membership. Another version of memberships is like, okay, I walk in your store and you have all this stuff out, but then you have this special back room where you've got even more stuff. Or I get to go look at some stuff that isn't for sale yet, but it's going to be. I get to go to that back room. That's like joining your Facebook group or joining some sort of other place where it's not just on display through the windows. You have to actually enter into a room and go back there to see this exclusive stuff. That is like the physical analogy I always use when I talk about memberships. So as long as you have all that, your members only live streams could be something that's in the back room. However, you need to think of it as it's the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. special hours, because you need to be scheduling this. People need to know I need to join that and I need to go watch that because it's for me. There's two other things I think about when it comes to members only live streams. Personally, if you absolutely need people to be there live in order for it to be the type of exclusive activity, then you need to not make the replay available. Meaning you need to take it down, and they can't, that's going to give them an incentive. Like, I better show up at Saturday, 8 a.m. because it's just a window of opportunity. So there's a number of ways to strategize about it, but I don't know, that was a really long-winded answer to your question, but we kind of geeked out on membership strategy there. So I'm going to move on to the next question because I need to get to more questions though. But hopefully that was helpful for even any of you that are thinking about, thinking about doing a membership of some sort. So Connie Cleary says, are there any new updates for StreamYard? So I don't have any updates. So I do know that, the new ownership has absolutely said they're excited about the product roadmap. They're excited to develop the roadmap. So we are going to be seeing more changes and enhancements to StreamYard. I don't know what those are. I'm not privy to that information at this time. And that's, essentially that. I do know that they are making a few changes. They're they've gotten kind of things going. And I know there's usually about a 3 or 4 month period where when there's an acquisition, things don't change. We're kind of ending that. We're in that ending season. So there may be all kinds of changes that you may start to see both in social media as well as in the content that gets created. I do know that they're making some decisions around that. But as far as the details, I'm not privy to those details. Okay, so Josephine says, Can lives still be recorded and saved on YouTube and Instagram when using StreamYard? Yes, as long as you have those settings in your apps, meaning on Instagram and YouTube. Yes, those will stay there. And they, as long as your settings are set up appropriately, they will absolutely be saved to those platforms. Okay, so this question says, if I will be speaking critical matters, will your channel be blocked? So here's the deal. When it comes to sensitive content or, you know, I'll just say sensitive content or controversial topics or just polarizing stuff like political, religion, all those types of things are what I would call polarizing subjects. You are going to risk people blocking you. You're going to risk haters. You're going to risk it because it's highly sensitive. People are passionate, and it is very much like, you know, some people are way on one end of the spectrum. Some people are way over on the other end of the spectrum. And there's a lot of fighting about that. A lot of people are in the middle. I tend to be one of those people that kind of rides the middle on just about everything. But anytime you talk about something that's polarizing, you are absolutely putting in a position where you're going to receive feedback. And that's what I'm going to call it. You're going to receive feedback, positive, negative, and everything in between, because that is the nature of the content. As far as getting blocked, meaning blocked by audience members, yeah, they may just be like, I don't ever want to see or hear from that person again because I completely disagree with them. They might block you. Just like I said, people are very passionate about these topics and they are sensitive. The other thing, the way you can be blocked is a platform can block you or turn your channel off or prevent you from creating content. That is all going to come down to their policies. So you just need to make sure that you understand the policies. You're commenting on YouTube, so I assume you're talking about YouTube. You want to make sure that you understand what is appropriate according to them and what is inappropriate or allowed and not allowed. And as long as you stay within those guidelines, you should not be blocked. It does happen sometimes, and you can also reach out to the platforms and contest it because they do make mistakes sometimes. There are a lot of algorithms trying to identify these misbehaviors, and sometimes the algorithms are incorrect. And so you do sometimes need to get a human to actually review your case. Ada says, please explain how to allow guests to share slides. They should be able to share slides. So as long as you... Yeah, I don't even think there's a setting to turn that on or off. I'm checking. The settings you have for guests are, well, let's see. Let me show you. I'll pull it up on my screen. But I got to get in there. Here we go. So if I go to settings and I go to guests, these are the options you have for guests. Guests can stream to their own destinations. Guests can see viewer comments and posts. Play a sound when the guest enters. Guests must authenticate. And then obviously Green Room is actually part of, you have to be on the business plan or the growth plan for StreamYard. So, and then you can ban guests in here as well. But as far as sharing their screen, that shouldn't be, that's not a toggle on and off. So your guest simply needs to go to the bottom of the screen just like you do and share their screen. So that's how they do that. I had to double check that though. I started thinking and okay, so I will say this though. They're going to add their screen to share it, but then it's going to show up in the bottom of your studio. You have to add it to the stream. They can't add it to the stream. So I guess that's a little different. So they can share their own content, but you have to be the one who adds the content to the actual stream. So slides, screen, any of that stuff. How much does the 10 people cost on StreamYard? Well, as of right now, if I go to our pricing, so as of right now, remove that. Let me change this. I was sharing a window, not a screen. I thought I was sharing the screen. There we go. Okay, so right now, you have 10 participants is what you're asking for. So that is your basic plan. That currently is $20 a month. Now that's if you're on the annual. If you go to monthly, it's $25. So if you want to pay month to month and be able to cancel anytime, it's $25 a month. But if you do the yearly, you will save money. You'll actually save $60 annually. That's $20 a month. Now, if you wanted more guests than that, then you would need to upgrade to professional. But as of right now, if you're just looking at 10 people on screen, then the basic plan is what you would want. Just make sure you're aware of the other limitations on the basic plan. For example, only 720p instead of the full, high definition and things like that. So not a lot more to get all those other features. All right, so Ada had another question, and then I'll move on to some other folks. After I have already created a live preview, can I edit and create new thumbnail on YouTube? What are my limitations to editing? So some platforms, you can't make a change. A lot of times you can just make the change in StreamYard and it's going to push the change out. YouTube is one of those. So if you went and changed your title or even your description, or you wanted to change the thumbnail, it is actually going to update that out on YouTube. However, on LinkedIn, it does not. So like, for example, yesterday when I rescheduled my stream, I rescheduled the stream and it probably was still out there on the original one was probably still out there on LinkedIn, because you have to go natively into the app to make any changes to your LinkedIn live stream. But with Facebook and with YouTube, it's all, it will actually push the updates for you. I don't know about X. I think X is like LinkedIn. I think you platforms like Instagram and things like that, because you're using custom RTMP, you would also need to make whatever change you are in the app natively. So, but if you make any changes in StreamYard, you should absolutely be able to, it'll push those updates out there. Okay, so Joanne says, how well would an iPad work to do a live stream at a remote location? Thinking I could flip the camera to the audience from time to time. Can you show slides via iPad? You can show slides. Hold on. I think you can. Let me see. Let me double check that, because you can't share your screen. I'm going in, I'm entering right now. I don't use the mobile app as much, or the mobile streaming as much, so I'm not as familiar with all of the different features. Okay, hold on. I'm just going into this stream right now. Okay, it doesn't look like... Yeah, you can't share any content, it looks like. So there's no slides, and there's obviously no screen share. Wait, is that right? I'm double checking, sorry. Yeah, I don't think that you have that option. If somebody knows and I'm wrong, tell me, because again, like I said, I don't stream on my device ever. I really just don't. I stream on my computer all the time, so I'm not as familiar with. I know that, but you can't. It looks like you can't share content though, Joanne. So that would be the limitation. But as far as going from front camera to rear camera, you can do that. It is a little tricky. It's not like an easy toggle right there in the screen. You have to actually go into the setting, change it, then go back. Go into the setting, change it, and go back. So it's kind of a little bit clunky as far as doing that, but it can be done. Seven Spot says, would like to stream live on one browser and high def record in a second. Is that possible? So yes. So here's the deal. So StreamYard now has localized recordings, and localized recordings are where you are streaming, and if you have the setting turned on, when the stream is done, it is then going to download your high definition recording, and it's going to download it to your computer. You have to keep StreamYard open, let it do the download, and it will download to a folder that's on your computer. That is essentially what you would be doing. You will also have the option to go in and download it from the cloud storage. I do think that the one that if you do localized recordings, I actually do think that it is a little higher definition. What is really great about that feature is that going to allow you, if you have a guest, it's going to allow you to download their camera feed and audio feed separately. So that's called an isolated recording. It is actually going to allow you, so you would have yours and you would have theirs, regardless of what you stream. Because when you're streaming, you might be toggling, them and you and having both you on screen and not on screen. But when you download their recording, it's just going to be their camera feed and their audio, which is really great in any kind of podcast usage or any post-production special, editing you want to create. You want to go create something else, repurpose your content into something else. It's really great for that because you're going to have all of their audio, all their video all together and yours separately so that you can then level things out if you need to in post-production. So hopefully that answered your question. All right, so we're getting close to the top of the hour. So I'm going to probably answer just a couple more questions. And that will be what we're doing, Mel. Oh, got people. Some people are definitely, joining in here. I got Square Table Degenerates in the house. Got other people here hanging out with us too. So I'm just saying hi to you guys. Any thoughts on dark mode? Oh yeah, that's been asked a lot. That has definitely been requested before. I do think that will happen. I mean, I personally believe that it will happen. I just don't know when, but I think it'd be great. But you can still do dark mode in your browser. So like Chrome, you can turn on dark mode that way, but it's not the full dark mode experience that I think everybody's looking for. Bad robot. Main Street versus Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, I mean, I like to say Main Street. It's like the little street downtown in your little town. Joanne says, can you do live private setting on YouTube via StreamYard? Yes, you certainly can. You would select that when you create your stream. I'll show you real quick. Oops, I gotta get to the right browser here. So when I am creating my stream, okay, you're going to, when you create your stream, right here, when you select YouTube, it's going to give you this setting right here, and you would want to go to unlisted or private. Now, an unlisted video on YouTube basically means that people have to have the link. That would be a way to you're creating exclusive content as well, as you would go unlisted and then you send people a link ahead of time, then if they have to have that link in order to access that stream. Private is nobody can see it except for you. You are the only one. You, the owner of, or the admins of your YouTube account, are the only ones that can see that. So sometimes what people do is they'll create a piece of content and they'll upload it as private, and then they'll release it later. People do that sometimes, just as a workflow situation. But that's where you would make the setting change right there, Joanne, is in your YouTube when you are in the live stream, the details where you upload your thumbnail and do all that stuff. That was a good question. Jen says, I'm thinking about doing a member-only diary video while I'm going through the starting newsletter process. Yeah, like a vlog, kind of. That would be kind of fun. I think it'd be kind of cool. Square Table, I think that's a good one for me. Money Mel. I haven't been called that before. I've been called all kinds of other things, but not Money Mel. I like it. Aw, that's cool. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy says his content is actually very general, which is pretty cool. He says, I have a daily show over morning coffee. The topics are general. My channel is not specific. It's just me and a mic. Very cool. So that I actually would be curious. Did you start that during the pandemic, or were you already doing it? There were a lot of creators that just had this sort of just chatting, just hanging out content that really started to blossom during the pandemic, because we were all striving for connection, and that's how we were getting our connection. Okay, interesting question. So, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Riokosh, I'm going to butcher it, but we're going to our awesome person watching from in Puerto Rico here. What's the easiest way to connect a Canon T7 to use as a webcam? A Canon T7 is a model I am not familiar with. I'm going to Google it very quickly, because I believe if it's an EOS Rebel. So if it's an older camera, which it kind of looks like it is a little, you would have to have a capture card. You would want to use a capture card. Actually, I don't know if it's older or not. Maybe it's not. Here's the deal. You can absolutely use a Canon. You can use this DSLR camera for your webcam, but you have to have a capture card. You have to have a way for your computer to recognize that camera signal as a webcam. And so essentially it's called a capture card. So Elgato Camlink 4K is a great one. I'm currently using a Sony ZV-E10, and it's going through a Rode X, which is a little interface that does audio and video, but it's also a capture card. So it doubles as a capture card. That's what you would have to have. And so, but some cameras, some newer cameras. So again, I don't know anything about this camera. I apologize. I don't know about it, but if it's an older camera and it does not have a software function to convert the signal to a webcam signal in the camera, you're going to have a capture card and the appropriate cable. The other thing you want to do is you also want to make sure that you buy a dummy battery. It's called a dummy battery. And what it is it literally looks like a battery, goes into the battery slot, except it's a DC cable. It's a cable that goes right to the wall and it's going to plug into the wall. That's going to allow your camera to stay powered on and you won't run out of battery. This happens a lot where people run out of battery in the middle of their stream because maybe they went longer than they thought and their battery died. And so you don't want to, and also it's just good on the camera. It's better on the camera to just use this dummy battery. So you'd want a dummy battery, the appropriate cable to plug into from your camera into a capture card, and you need a capture card to convert the signal so that your computer can recognize your camera as a webcam. That's essentially what you need. Some cameras, as I mentioned, have built-in software. So the Sony ZV-E10, for example, I can plug it in with a USB cable, but then I have to go into my settings on my camera and have to basically turn on USB live streaming, and it will then allow my camera or my computer to recognize that Sony ZV-E10 as a webcam, but it does not pull in a full high definition signal. So there's that too. So keep that in mind. That was a fun, I like a good random gear and tech question. We've got some tech questions today that have been pretty fun. So speaking of, Rod says, just going back to the hotspot keys in StreamYard, any thoughts or plans for being able to switch cameras? It can be done manually, so it would be nice if there is a hotkey as well. You know what? Let me check, because if you're on the professional plan, Rod, then you can have a second camera hooked up to StreamYard. And then if not, I'll tell you a hack around it, which is what I do. I just want to check the hotkey settings really quick. I do think accessing settings sometimes can be a little cumbersome. It's fine. Okay, I'm in settings, hotkeys. I feel like share the extra camera is one. It is. All right, so right here. So if you look here, share second camera, right there, there is a hotkey for that. So that would allow you to add the second camera, and then you would probably need to make sure that you have the layout created appropriately, and then you would select that layout appropriately. So Rod, that's a really cool idea, and it's actually a kind of a fun video idea to create to walk people through how to do that. So you would need to create a custom layout that had camera number 2 versus camera number 1, right? And then you would need to be on the pro plan to use the second camera. And then you also just need to go configure the hotkeys to your Stream Deck, and you would be able to do that. Now, the other workaround that would allow you to do this, which is actually what I do, is I actually use OBS. So I have OBS open, I have everything there, and I have the virtual camera turned on. And what that does is it basically says anything that I create in OBS to be produced out is then going to be displayed in StreamYard as my webcam. And so right now it's just me, but I'm able to do this, for example, push a button and do that, because this is a scene that I made in OBS, and I push a button and it just does that scene, right? And so, that's the same thing with this. I can create my own custom things in OBS that I can't do in StreamYard, and that's why I do that. That's literally the reason I do it. I don't do it because I want to use OBS to stream. I love StreamYard for 1,000 reasons. But when it comes to some uniqueness and some custom things, the other thing I can do is I can switch my camera, but right now it's not, like, I actually have another camera right there, but I think the cable's loose, so it's not pulling in the camera feed. But I have a scene set up with one camera and a scene set up with the other camera. And so I just push the buttons and that does it. So you could use OBS and turn on the virtual camera and make that your scene switcher, your camera switcher, or you can do it natively in StreamYard the way I just described earlier, which really sounds complicated, but once you set it all up, it's set up and you're good to go. So Anastasia wants to know what kind of camera I'm using. I think I did say it after she posted this, but just as to answer that question, I am using a Sony ZV-E10. I also have the Sigma, you know, I don't even remember, Sigma little, the 16 millimeter lens that has the 1.4 f-stop. So that's why you get a nice blurry background. So that is the camera I'm using. I love the Sony ZV-E10. It's really cool. Okay, so La Cueva del Graton says, every time I use music on StreamYard, messed up with my audio. How can I fix this? Okay, so it depends on how you're doing it. If you're using music inside StreamYard, because there are 8 tracks that everybody has access to, it shouldn't have any problem. You shouldn't have any problems. The only reason you could be having a problem is if you're playing that music and you're hearing it through your speakers and your microphone is picking up what's coming out of your speakers. That can absolutely affect the way it sounds. So usually anytime you're incorporating additional audio in a stream, you should be wearing headphones. It's just the safest thing. I'm currently not doing that today. I am playing the music very quietly. I don't even know. I can barely hear it. You guys might be able to hear it. Nobody's complained about it. So maybe you guys can't even hear it. I have it on like 20% inside StreamYard. But anyway, you just need to make sure that you're set up appropriately. Now, if you are using audio through a mixer or a virtual mixer or something else, and that's how you're producing, bringing the music into the stream, it's very similar, same thing. You want to make sure you have the settings appropriate. I will tell you that when I do this with StreamYard, let me go into the settings and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I had to troubleshoot this on my own channel I troubleshooted it one day when I was there, or live streaming. You have some audio settings in here that are very wonderful. You have echo cancellation. You now have reduced mic background noise. So what that is when I was describing the issue of stuff coming out of the speakers, or maybe you've got kids playing around in the background, when you turn on reduced mic background noise, it actually does a phenomenal job. If you have a air conditioner humming in the background and you turn this on, it's going to make a significant improvement to the way your audio sounds. I don't use this in StreamYard because I am also using a separate software that also has reduced mic background noise, and I don't need the double effect. The other thing, so what I had, I think it was echo cancellation, or maybe it was reduced background noise. I don't remember now. I believe it was reduced mic background noise. When I had this turned on and I was bringing music into my stream, I was playing Epidemic Sound. I was bringing it in through my Wavelength software. It was totally messing up my audio because I think StreamYard, the algorithm, was thinking that music was background noise. And so it was really just it was totally screwing everything up. So that is also the reason I have it turned off. But again, if you're just playing music inside StreamYard, you shouldn't have any issues. But you just want to make sure you have some settings, because what that's doing is it's thinking that, oh, that music isn't supposed to be there. We just want to hear their voice. So that's why reduced background noise, you need to be careful when you use it and when you don't. And then, of course, stereo audio also would be something I would highly recommend you have turned on if you're doing that. So hopefully that answered that question. That was a good one. All right, so I think I'm going to have to, we're past time a little bit, and it is Saturday. So, we've all got fun stuff we want to go do, right? So I am going to go ahead and close this one down. Let me tell you this, though. If you had a question and I did not answer your question, I would highly recommend that you head on over to the Facebook community. So the Facebook group, so we have a Facebook group. If you've got a question, post it in there. If you want to tag me in it, that's fine. But honestly, there's so many awesome people in that Facebook group that can help you. So if I didn't get to your question today, or I wasn't able to answer your question because I didn't know the answer, like the Canon question, then just post it over there and you will see that all kinds of people will come to your help and your aid and will help you out. So definitely want to make sure that you all know about that community. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel here on over here on YouTube, make sure that you are absolutely in here hanging out, subscribe to YouTube, because who knows what's in the future, right? Who knows what's coming and who knows what's changing and all the things. And the best way for you to stay in touch is to be connected. So make sure you're following us over on X as well. And that's going to be fun. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to say goodbye for today. Goodbye for now. And I'm going to get my little thank you video queued up because I always like to end with this. It just makes it fun. And yeah, so I will see you guys next time. I will be back. I don't have a lot of answers about everybody else, but I know I'm here for now. At least on the, the short term, hopefully long term. So I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Until then, have a great one. See you later. Bye.